Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapatakamelam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpa taribhescha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna everyone. So you're able to see my screen, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, so before we start today's class, apologies for the last week schedule at least. We were not aware of there was a festival on that day. Otherwise, we would have arranged some other day. So apologies for that. And hopefully next time we can remember these things. And we'll do a makeup class, I think just after Kartik. This Sunday, again, we can ask these questions on the Gopal Prabhu later. If people are free in the morning or the afternoon, we can do the class if they are free.
For this Sunday, Prabhuji?
For this Sunday. I know there's someone celebrating Diwali's, but Diwali actually is here 13th and yeah, Diwali will be in the evening. So if they want, we can do morning or noon class if they are free, majority of them.
Maybe check with you that a couple of timings. Which time can we have it, and then maybe
most of them are free. Otherwise, we can have immediately after the Kartik extra class. Okay, Hare Krishna. So we have already started chapter 17, which is Shraddhatraya Vibhag Yoga. So Prabhupada has given 3 sections here. So we have done the first section. I'll just repeat it. So Arjun is asking a question, and whole chapter is practically the response of Krishna. And the sections are faith, worship, and food in different modes. And then second section is sacrifices, austerities, and charity in different modes. And final section is chanting Om Tat Sat and making everything transcendental. So let's do a quick revision. So 17.1. Prasannatma Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Prabhu, I'm driving.
Okay, no problem. So you shouldn't be on the video, Prabhu, if you're driving.
Yeah.
Safe driving, Prabhu. Please. Yeah. Okay. Mahavasu Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Okay, maybe he's here or not here, not sure. Ragvi Mataji. Okay. Sakhi Radhika Mataji, Hare Krishna. Okay, Ragvi Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhuji. I have 2 kids with me. I don't think I'll be able to do it. Prabhuji hasn't come.
Okay, no worries, Mataji. Sakhi Radhika Mataji. Okay. No problem. I'll go back.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, give me 5 more minutes, then I can.
No problem, Mata. No problem. Mahavasu Prabhu, you're back. You're on mute, Prabhu, if you're talking.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I really don't remember much, but anyways, I'll try. Thank you. All right. So it says 17.1. It says, Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scripture but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness or in passion or in ignorance? So, to what I remember, what I wrote is this refers to the text. It is in this verse, and this chapter is probably reference to the text number 16.23 and 16.24. That's what you mentioned. And in 16.24, it says, those who discard the scriptural injunction and act according to their own whims attain neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So Krishna is talking about the faith of the people who don't believe in personal feature of the Lord or in devotion of the Lord, right? And what sort of faith do they carry? To be honest, yeah, that's all I remember. Sorry, Prabhu. I'm sorry. It's been too long for me to remember. Sorry.
Too long. Okay, no worries. Okay, so as Prabhuji said nicely, it is related to 16:23 and 24, and similar words are used. Ye Shastra Vidhi Usajya, so one who do not follow the Shastra Vidhi, ye jante Shraddhyanvita, but they still have some Shraddha. Tesham Nishtha Dukkha Krishna Sattvam Aho Rajastama. So which sort of platform they reside in? Sattvam, goodness, passion, or ignorance? So that's the question which Arjuna is asking. And Krishna will respond in a very beautiful way. Prasanna Prabhu, would you like to do this second verse?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
As Prabhu said, it's a long time since.
Just one week gap and feels like we haven't done for ages, huh?
Let me first read the translation. Okay. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about it. So Krishna is trying to explain to. Sorry, something happened here. Yeah, Krishna is trying to explain that the modes, the faith are based on the three kinds of modes: mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So the words, the translation, word by word translation talks about three with the three kinds. Bhavati becomes Shraddha, the faith; Dehinam, the embodied soul, according to the Swabhaja. So according to the modes of material nature. So he talks about Sattvic, Rajas, and Tamasi. So modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now he's going to say, just hear this from me. Shunu, hear from me.
So what's the difference between 1 and 2? The main difference? Otherwise, the last line looks exactly same. Sattvuki, Rajasi, and Tamasi. Arjuna has also asked the same question. Anyone remembers the basic difference in 1 and 2? So Krishna is just not repeating the question of Arjuna. He's giving a special word here.
Prabhu, as far as I remember, you told that all the three types of Shraddha are based on the Swabhava, not that the Swabhava is the Shraddha.
That's right.
So the main part is the Swabhava.
All because
yeah. So Dehi means we are living entity. Yes, Prasanna Prabhu.
Based on a nature, yes.
Based on the nature. Swabhava Janma Jat. So from Janma, they have a Swabhava. And based on that, they will have different types of Shraddha. Yes, Sakhiradhika Mataji.
Prabhuji, I had this question. I've written it. I was reading. So I had this question from text 2 and text 3.
Mhm.
Krishna here is saying it depends on the according to the modes of nature when acquired by the what nature is like mode of modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul. One's faith can be of three kinds. So
Yes.
Krishna is saying that it is according to their swabhava, their the faith is
Yeah.
in mode of goodness. But in text 3, Krishna is saying according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one involves a particular kind of faith. Are
Yes.
they not two different things?
Yeah, there's similar things, Mataji. So if you read this line, just take verse 2 for now. So nature acquired by the embodied soul. So each soul will have a different kind of nature. Now, how do they acquire the nature? That's a whole sort of different discussion altogether. But if we look on the very high level here, so everyone is different. That's what we say. Good or bad, we're not saying, but everyone is different, right? And based on their nature, again, we're not discussing how they achieve that nature. Based on the nature, their faith can be of three kinds. So if you just take that line, that's quite understood. Is that okay? So based on the nature, they will have faith. So some will have, faith in devatas, some will have faith in bhutas and pretas and all that. Now, if you go to the next one.
Is it based on the past, Prabhu, karma?
Yes, Prabhuji. So suppose a thief is reborn, for example. So his mindset will be like that, in passion or in ignorance. From the very childhood, you will see he will show some sort of tendencies, or you will see a Mahatma is taking birth in a family. From very childhood, you will see the child is very calm, cool, very mature. I'm just remembering His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. Is a small photo I just saw recently again. So even in his childhood, did not like to wear new shoes, new clothes. When the parents will buy him new shoes, he will go and scrap it to make it look like old. He didn't want to go with the new shoes, and everyone will say, "Oh, your shoes are very nice." So from the childhood, no one taught him to do all those things. So he has acquired a particular nature. Now, how he acquired, that's another discussion, how many lifetimes he has done tapasya and all that. And similarly, other way, extreme cases. From very childhood, you'll say child is extremely naughty. He's, and I'm remembering Vena. Even in the childhood, Canto 4 of Bhagavatam, he will kill children while playing with them. If a children doesn't listen to Vena, he will throw them into the well or in the river from the very childhood. Now, no one taught him to do that. He was like that. Duryodhan, same thing.
Another example, last time you told about a drunkard person. Two children, one became drunkard.
Yes. That's also a very nice example of same family, same father, same environment, same brothers, but one became teetotaler, never touched alcohol. Another one became, and one was praising his father, one was criticizing his father. I've learned from my father not to drink, and I've learned from my father drink alcohol. So based on past conditioning, now how they take the birth in that family and all that's pretty complex, but yeah, that's a different discussion altogether. So coming back to Mataji's, your point here. So according to one's existence under the various modes of nature. Now, one thing we have to add, Mataji, if you go to the previous birth of this particular soul, the same thing would have happened based on his karma, based on his previous conditioning, he will acquire a certain nature. I'm remembering Narad Muni's Katha in Srimad Bhagavatam. In the previous birth to current Narad Muni's birth, he was the son of the maid servant. And before that, he was a Gandharva. He's remembering his both life and saying, so one life is always connected to the previous life, always like that. So from Gandharva, he became maid servant, that's connection. And from from the son of the maid servant, he became current Narad Muni, that's also. Now, when he was the son of the maid servant, he again had a nature, but then more things were acquired by the association of the sages. So every life you can say is like a cycle. So based on your nature, you will acquire the modes of material nature, and based on the modes of material nature, you will acquire a nature, and that will keep going on and on and on. Is that making sense? It's a cyclic process.
That means that only loophole for anybody who is in mode of ignorance or is mode of passion is sadhu sangha. That's what.
Or even in mode of goodness. Mode of goodness is also binding. So yes, Mataji, that's why this samsara chakra is never ending because of this. Because of a certain nature, you will say steal certain things, for example, and then you'll get more karma, and then because you get more karma, you'll be bound more. And then with that more, some people are, I've heard it, at least a serial killer, they do one killing and then another killing, and then go to the jail and come back and do more similar things, drugs, same thing. So people get stuck more and more and more in these sort of situations just because of the karma. So one karma leads to another karma. And same thing happen in goodness as well. Okay. We'll go to 17.4. It's a very famous verse, and it should be the part of, okay, Ujjwala Sir, Mataji or Prabhu has a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Just one question,
Yes.
that even though we acquire a specific faith based on our previous births
Yes.
and the degree of association with the modes in the current birth, but this can be changed, right? It can
Yes.
be changed.
Definitely. As Chaitanya Charan Prabhu gives a beautiful example of a browser history. So suppose you type, monday.com or whatever it is. So as soon as you put M, monday.com will come. But that's not to compel you to go to monday.com. It's just giving some suggestions. So similarly, our thoughts, our actions, our speech, they're all like trained in a particular way, but everything can be changed. It's hard. Amog Lila Prabhu gives a very beautiful example of a river bed. So suppose there's a river bed, very hard to change a river bed, but he said it's possible. Technically, it's possible. And that's why Chanakya Pandit said, changing people's nature is impossible. And that's true. That's true. You see people around you, very good or very bad, they are what they are. Very, very hard to change. So materially speaking, yes, that's true. But spiritually speaking, Jiva Goswami says, if that person becomes a devotee, example is Valmiki or Mragari, for example, Nalkuber and Manigriva, things were changed. Things were changed. So it's possible, but only due to the association of a pure devotee. When he sort of interferes in your life, Brahman Bharmite, Kauna Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye, Bhakti Lata Bij. Then it's possible. Otherwise, you just go on and on in the cyclic mode. Okay. So 17.
Yes,
Hare Krishna. Someone said something?
no, I said thank you. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you, Prabhuji. So we'll go 17.4. This is a very famous verse. Should be in the exam list. I'm not sure if it's there, but it is a very famous verse. I can see Vijay Mataji, Vijay Gopi Mataji, if you like to do. Sorry, I didn't see Vijay Mataji, so I said Vijay Mataji.
Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Take the translation. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Here Yajanti is worship. So this is similar verse to that Yanti Deva Prata Devan, that verse.
Yep, 925.
Yes. So Yanti is like Yajanti is like worship here. So the one who was in the mode of goodness, they worship the demigods like Satvika Devan. Devan is like demigods. And Yaksha Rakshami Rajasa. So those in the mode of passion, they worship the Rakshasas or Yakshas, like demons. And those who are in the mode of ignorance, Pritan Bhuta, like they worship the spirits of the death, like Bhuta and Pretas and other stuff. They worship the ghost and the spirits. So these are the different types of worship which the people do. But
Yes.
as a devotee, we have to worship Krishna directly. That symbolizes like we should be in the mode of Shuddha Sattva, like cross beyond these three modes. And when those who worship Krishna should technically be in the mode of Shuddha Sattva.
Yes. Or at least we can be in mode of goodness in worshipping Krishna, not in passion and ignorance. Like within worship also, we can be in mode of passion and ignorance. So we may go to temple, we may do some service, but that service we may do in mode of passion. How great service I do. The whole community should acknowledge me and say, oh, you are super great devotee. And my ego gets inflated. Aha. They are all recognizing my greatness in devotion. I'm sacrificing so much for Krishna. So that is considered mode of passion, actually. That is passion. Ignorance means I start hurting other devotees by my speech, by my actions, or Even in my mind, I get very angry or something. So now occasionally it may happen, we get upset, but it should not become our second nature. We like someone or we dislike someone. Now we may stay away from someone because they don't inspire you in devotion. That's fine, because even in devotion life, my Guru Maharaj said, people carry different material baggage because that's how they are conditioned. We are also conditioned. So someone may not inspire us and we don't have to closely associate with them, but we should not hate anyone. That's not good. Otherwise, it may become one day in our actions as well. And that's not very nice. That's not very nice. So we have to stay on the platform of goodness and eventually to pure goodness. Okay, now one quick question here, sort of a discussion. So you say Yajante Sattvika Deva. So the worship of Devtas is considered Sattva here, which is fine. Now, how do you say when the worship of Brahmaji, for example, is considered in mode of passion, Shivji in mode of ignorance, and Vishnu in goodness? So how do we sort of reconcile these two statements?
Prabhu, actually, we're mentioning about like they are doing that, like for example, like Vishnu is doing in the mode of goodness, in the like process of maintenance. It doesn't mean that they are in the mode of goodness. I mean, not in the mode of passion or ignorance. Like for Shivaji, like he is not in the passion.
I'm talking from the devotee perspective itself, Mataji, not from Shivji perspective. From devotee perspective, when we say worship of Brahmaji is in mode of passion, so how do we sort of establish? He's considered the adhisthata of passion.
Different grades, Prabhu. Even in the same mode of goodness, also there are different grades.
Yes.
Like for example, even if we're telling about the example of animal, also they are in the mode of goodness, ignorance, but cow is in the mode of goodness.
So it's ignorance, goodness. So ignorance is like a top tier, and then you can say subcategories on that. So worship of Vishnu is like goodness, goodness. Brahmaji is goodness, passion, and goodness, ignorance. And as you said, cow, ignorance is a super degree or top tier, and then you can say ignorance, passion, ignorance, goodness, and ignorance, like that. Okay, thank you. We should have this understanding. Is always a range. It's never like a clear cut. Why? This is all the material world is. Nothing is so clear, and that's why I call it Shuddha Sattva. Sattva has to be Shuddha as well, and that's only possible with Vishnu. Okay, we can skip this 17.5.6. Now we will worship. So this is a summary verse. We'll quickly do. I'll do this one. So 17.7 talks about ahara. Trividho bhavati priya. So ahara is of 3 types. Yajna is of 3 types. Tapa is of 3 types. And dana is of 3 types. Now the 4 categories we are going to discuss in practically the rest of the chapter till verse 23. And then we'll define the conclusion of this chapter. So 17.8. I think we read that or no? We read it? Yeah, okay, we read it. Vichya Mataji, if she is here, she can do.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji, if I don't remember anything, please forgive me.
No, Mata. We're all doing it together, Mata. It's a learning class. It's not a class. I'm also learning, Mataji.
7 and 8.
You don't have to read the whole thing, Mata. Just look at the meaning of Prabhupada. We can just look at it from here. So Ayu is age.
Ayu is the age, Sattva is the goodness, and Bala
existence. Here Sattva means existence.
Existence. Okay.
So we
Bala
all have to purify our existence. Like we are existing, that's offshore. Even animals are existing. But we have to we are aware that we need to purify ourselves, isn't it? Whatever devotional activities we do, the goal is, at least the ideal goal is to purify ourselves. And that's why we do. So Sattva is referring to existence, whatever purifies our existence, not further degrades us. That sort of ahar. Okay. So Bala
is the strength, and
Arogya
is the health.
So no roga. Roga is roga, disease. Arogya, no roga.
Is no roga.
Sukha.
And Sukha is happiness or like the well-being. And
yes,
Preeti is
satisfaction. Prabhupada writes here. Vivardhana means vardhan karna, increase.
Increasing.
Increase. Rasayaha. Rasa
is juice.
In Maharashtra, Amras is very popular. What do you call that famous mango? I forgot the name.
Alfonso.
Alfonso mango. Alfonso mango. full of amras. Anyway, different parts of India, there are different juicy things. Snigdha is snigdha. Even in Hindi, we call it snigdha. Chikna.
Chikna.
Like
Okay.
fat. Prabhupada writes here, fatty substance. Like milk has a fat. Isthira.
Yes.
Whole meal, basically. Enduring. Isthir substance. Hridaya. Hridaya means
Pleasing.
hridaya ko priya hai, pleasing to the heart.
Pleasing to
Ahara sattvika priya.
Priya.
So sattvic person likes these sort of people. See, you did it, Mataji. You did word to word full translation.
Thank you. आपने कर दिया.
Nahi, Mata. Anyway, we can all read, we are all learning, so that's fine. So this is the characteristic of the ahar, which is in sattva. Now we'll read ahar, which is in passion. Now someone has to read that. Who wants to read? Okay, Sakira, Mataji.
Prabhu, we had done this, or should I read?
I think we haven't done this, right?
Okay.
17.9, we haven't done it.
Sorry, Prabhu, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yes,
please?
Mata, please.
Here it says pleasing to the heart. Like
Yeah.
sometimes even the food which is not good for health also
Yes.
is.
Yes.
What do we
You're
do?
right. You're right. I also actually thought similar way whenever I read it first time or second time. But here we're talking of positive terms. Like sometimes, you have a lot of, fatty food, even in festivals, for example, or in home program. You come home and you take your nice sattvic dosa. It satisfies your heart. Or dal chawal for North Indians, or dal roti, whatever. Huh? So when you eat it, you're really satisfied. You don't need these, many 10 different dishes, heavy sabji and heavy kofta and all that. It satisfies you. So here it's considered in a positive terms, not in just individual terms. By eating that ahara, your heart becomes pleased. Oh, it's really nice. You sit down on the floor and just eat, a simple sabji or roti. It really feels good. So that's what it's been considered as. Yeah, but you're right. Other people who eat meat, for example, they say, aha, this is Sattvika Priya, Hridaya Priya. This is very priya to my Hridaya. They may also say that, but that's their conditioning. So we're talking in positive terms here because the context is like that. Okay, let's go to the 9.
I'll start. Prabhu.
Yes, Mother.
Katva amla lavanati ushna.
Katpamala lavanati ushna.
Tikshna ruksha vidahina.
Tikshna ruksha vidahinaha.
Ahara rajas sasheshta.
Ahara rajasa seshta.
Dukha shokamaya pradha.
Dukha shoka maya pradaha.
Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease.
Thank you, Mataji. So here the translation we can just read from Prabhupada. So katva refer to bitter. Kadwa in Hindi, they call it kadwa. Amla is khatta. There's a phal called amla. What do you call in English? I don't know. Amla is English amla or something else?
Gooseberries.
Gooseberries. Okay, so that's amla. Everyone knows about it. Lavan refers to the salt. Whoever is from Hindi medium who would have learned this lavan and amla. So I've learned that word. So lavan means salty. Ushna means very hot, very hot substance. Some people like to drink tea very hot, extremely hot. Tikshna is pungent, very bad smell, you can say. Ruksha is very dry, and vidahina, burning to your tongue, basically. So ahara rajasa sheshta. So what do? The result is, this is nice. Dukkha, shoka, amaya. So there are 3 words here. Dukkha is obviously distress, shoka is misery, and amaya refers to disease. So all they give is these 3 things. So even I've seen people eating, making sabji, and they're putting so much onion, they are crying while cutting the onions, and then they eat. There's so much chili and onion, they cry while eating as well, and they think, wow, maza aa gaya. Even by looking at them, you feel like, okay, you put your spices if you need extra, but so much they put, so much. That's all in mode of rajas. Okay. Ujjwala Mataji or Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Just a quick note. I mean, sometimes the Karela is they said it's also very good for your health. Amla
Yes.
also.
Yeah.
Amla has got very Ayurvedic qualities which are
Yeah.
also. So I think they're talking of excess. If you do it in
Yes,
excess, then
absolutely, Prabhuji. Absolutely. Like Nibu is also sour. And Karela is considered a very sattvic sabji in that sense. So here, Kattu does not refer to bitter melon. It's just bitter substances. And Amla refers to too sour. I remember when I was a kid, some people will make curry, which is fine. They'll make curry only from the very sour dahi, extremely sour dahi. And I never liked that curry. I just like the normal curry. So those sort of substances have been talked. Obviously, amla, rishis used to take amla. And Karela, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liked Karela, Prabhupada liked Karela. So many devotees like Karela. So again, we can look at the context here.
Maybe Pani Puri falls in this category, bro.
Hatti Pani Puri, not Mithi Wali. See,
Yeah.
all the devotees want to, save their position. Okay.
Probably the word Ati is there, Prabhu. Ati.
Ati is there. Is Ati is there? Let's look at it. No, Ati is not there.
No, Lavan Ati Ushna. Before
Ati Ushna is one word.
Okay.
So Ati Ushna means, as Prabhupada writes here, Ati Ushna, very hot. So Ushna is hot, Ati Ushna is very hot. We want to safeguard our
I was trying to save everyone related with everything.
justify. I am eating because it's written in Bhagavad Gita. I wish one day. Anyway, we'll talk about food in a second. Just let's do this verse as well. Okay, who wants to do 17.10? I'll just leave it.
I can do it for you.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yatayamam gatarasam
Yatayamam gatarasam
Uti paryushitam chayata
Uti paryushitam chayad
Uchistam api chamedhyam
Uchistam api chamedyam
Bhojanam tamasa priyam.
Bhojanam tamasa priyam.
Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness.
Thank you. So Yatayamam. So Yam word is important. I think many devotees will know, especially North India is a very popular word. Yam refers to Prahar. So we call Ashta Prahar Leela. Krishna's Ashta Kalya Leela. Ashta Kal Leela means, so 24 hours is divided into three Prahars or 3 Yam. So it's saying Yatayam. So Yam refers to 3 hours. Yatayam means 3 hours have passed. So anything which you have prepared before 3 hours, even in the temple or in many devotees' home as well, we don't offer anything which is cooked 3 hours earlier. So we try to offer, we cook fresh and within a reasonable time we offer to Krishna. Now again, there are some exceptions and we should not try to judge those. Even in temple, sometimes they make milk sweets for Krishna that lasts for the whole week. Vijay Gopi Mataji make laddus for Krishna, I guess, that lasts for the whole week or something like that. So there are food which are prepared to meant for long purpose. But here again, the context is, suppose you leave a chapati outside just like that, without any cover. You leave it after 3 hours, you come back. It's not the best chapati in the world. You can't really take any taste or any nutrition as well. Gata rasam. The rasa is gone. The juicy substance is gone out of that things. Puti parishatam. Puti refers to very bad smelling. And that you would have experienced in your offices when you go to your office near the kitchen, not in the kitchen, just near the kitchen. You will just run out of it. I've heard it so many times. Parishitam chayada. So parishitam is decomposed. Now, some people also say, and some devotees also follow this, they don't take dosa or idli because you have to sort of decompose it. I'm remembering His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrat Maharaj, he doesn't take anything which is made up of that. But again, it's, even Radha Gopinath we don't offer on the altar. But again, it's not every devotee has to follow that. So not like that. But there are certain things which some devotees follow. Uchistam means bacha hua, jhutha. So someone has eaten in a plate and you will say, you also eat. Now we all do for our kids, for example, they leave what to do because we don't want to waste prasad. But the principle is we don't take uchista or jutha or remnants of others unless he is a devotee. And devotee remnants is considered maha prasad. Chamedhyam. So amedhyam is untouchable. Untouchable, now there's hundreds of categories, especially in today's modern world, all these meat and poultry and whatnot. Untouchable things which some people love to eat. Bhojanam tamasa priyam. So these are in mode of ignorance. So I should say, whoever is in mode of ignorance like these sort of things, not the other way. So whoever is in mode of ignorance. So if someone is eating like that, you can consider one way what sort of mode they are in. Now, one thing we have to understand when we're talking about yatayam gata rasam, so sometimes devotees bake some cookies or namak para and whatnot and take it for the travel. So they are not under this category, because the first principle is devotional principle, not material. Obviously, materially, we would like to have the fresh food, as fresh as possible, and which is offered to Krishna. But the second principle is we should not eat anything outside. So when we are traveling, obviously devotees carry their own food. Even for many days, people go out and they just take some fruits or something, and then they survive on that. So the first principle should not be just these words here. The food should be spiritual, cooked by a devotee, offered with devotion to Krishna, and then you consume it. There are some food, even Mother Yashoda in Bhagavatam was making this long-term food before the Govardhan Leela. If you remember, Krishna came in the kitchen and asked Mother Yashoda, Mother, what are you cooking? And the mother said, your papa, Nanda Baba, is going for a yatra. So I'm cooking all this food stuff for Nanda Maharaj. And then the Manasi Ganga appeared, and there's a whole pastime of that. So not every food will come under this category. But again, taking as a context, we understand very dried outside food, which is smelly, decomposed. We don't take all that food. Okay, we have two hands. Sarasanand Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Yes.
Sorry, on the practicality point of view, like 3 hours is not possible for, like as we are working and everything.
Yes.
In that case, like every day we are eating the food and the mode of ignorance. Is that the way, Prabhu? Like
Not really. As I said, the spiritual principle is more important. This is material principle. So spiritual principle is being made by a devotee with as much good consciousness as possible and has been offered to Krishna. Many houses just make one meal a day and we consume both times, sometimes more than 2 times. So obviously that's why Prabhupada said a devotee life should be simple. Simple means for this purpose. He said you're working 12 hours a day, running end to end, and when you come home you're super tired. You have, as soon as you open Bhagavad Gita, you start snoring. You have 12 rounds left in the night, and all these things, they are all matter, and food as well. So Prabhupada said you should only work 6 to 8 hours, but how many of us can do that? So the point of our sannyasis say, now do as best as possible. That's the answer, because you have your limitation in your time, in your energy, but try offer something fresh to Krishna. If nothing is available, at least an apple or some fresh fruits are available, try to offer that to Krishna. And for ourselves, as we should try to consume as best as possible. And if life is too complicated, my Guru Maharaj said, if you have just no time for anything, then it's a time to make time. Think about your life and see what adjustments are possible, because if you're just running after some projects may be heavy, and a month you may have to work very hard. That's okay. What can you do? But if you're 12 months of the year working super hard and life is just crazy all the time, there's something needs to be think about, because just after running too much on these material terms, we'll never get time. So we have to make some adjustment, make some sacrifices. My Guru Maharaj also said one thing, as much as possible we can take. He said, I kept my life simple. There are many things I didn't want to have, so I kept my life very, very simple. And that means in my house, when he was a grahastha, he was in Vrindavan, he said, in my house, there was only one furniture, and that was a chair. And he said that. He said in his own way, I can't say that, but he said, I simplified my life. So many times, again, wherever we are not simplifying our life, Chaitanya Prabhu says, satisfaction is not an emotion, it's a decision. Many times we are not able to decide, should I buy this sofa or not? So he said, it's a decision. You have to decide, I'm going to be satisfied with my 2 kurtas. If that's what is needed. You need 20 kurtas, go for it. But you have to sort of put a line there. 1 month, 2 months is enough. Now I have to sort of rejuggle my, whatever is going to come in my destiny, it will come. Again, being responsible, not irresponsible, but over involvement will never end, whether it's food or whether it's reading. Many times devotees don't read. I see here also devotees after 2 weeks, they say, I've forgotten. Sometimes I really feel, I'll be honest, to make a sadhana card compulsory for all the devotees, but I have no authority to do that, but I have a desire. Again, for myself also, I maintain a sadhana card and I criticize myself for not doing. Certain days are super busy, we are busy in seva, but it should not become the norm. We will always be busy. When we're going to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, attending a 2-hour class in a week is difficult. So I think then it's a time to make time. Otherwise, this Bhakti Shastri is just going to be pass the exam and get out. And after that, Prabhu, I don't know what I studied. What Hemanga Chaitanya said made no sense to me. So that should not be the case. It should be like, I really want to study, I really want to ask questions, I really want to go and study the purpose, read Acharya's commentaries. When life will never give you opportunity, okay, Mataji, Prabhuji, you sit today and read the commentary of Baldev Vidya Bhushan. That day probably will never come. So we have to make time, draw a line. Life is limited, our resources are limited, our capacities are limited. So whatever possible, I don't know what, but we have to do that. At least make half an hour every day to study Srila Prabhupada books, at least 30 minutes a day. If that's not happening, I'm sorry, we're not chanting 16 rounds properly. That's what it is. Guru Maharaj also said, 16 rounds also, all the sannyasis say, at least sometime, and he was very practical, sometimes should just chant for the sake of chanting, not for the finishing. Chant someday, which day, I don't know. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So similarly for reading, similarly for food as well. And he said, someday you have to dress up your deities, home deities. Someday, not every day you can do. Someday, take time. Today, I'm going to work for my home deities. Spend 3 hours with the deities. Bring some flowers, bring some leaves. So when life will stop? Never. Sorry, I'm also saying it, I'm also struggling, but at least start looking at your struggle. If you're not even struggling, then I think, it's not very nice. So struggle, one day you'll become successful. But if you're not struggling, it's something to think about. Anyone, Mohan Prabhu can help. He can guide. He's very sort of, what do you say, organized person. Okay. Sorry, Prabhu, if you are saying something, you're on mute.
Nothing, Prabhu. I'm totally opposite.
No. You're okay. Many of us are organized, but again, we have to help each other to do these things because life will never stop. Mataji, as you correctly said, we are just running in that cycle, and food matters, and the way we are eating, that matters. What time we are eating, that matters. So every day going out of the schedule, may not be the best thing to do. Okay, let's move forward. 17 points. So 17, 8, 9, and 10 talking about this food. Now we go 11, 12, and 13 talking about sacrifices or yajna. So Manmohan Prabhu or Mataji, would you like to read 17, 11?
अफलाकांक्षभिर्यज्ञो
Afalakankshabhiryagyo
विधिदिष्टो य युज्यते
vidhidisto ya ijjate
यष्टमं यष्टव्यम् एवेति मनः
yastabhyam eveti manaha
समाधाय स सात्विकः.
pramadhaya sa satvikaha.
Translation: of sacrifices, the sacrifice performed according to the directions of scripture as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness.
Thank you, Mataji. So here we can see very clearly, afala kankshabir. Kanksha refers to kamna, desire. Afala means no desire for phala. So I'm not doing a yajna because I desire something back from the yajna. Vidhi disto. So vidhi means vidhi vidhan. So rules and regulations. So the person who's doing is as per the regulations which are given in the scriptures. Ijjate means worship. Yastabhyam. Yastabhyam means must be performed. Like each ashrama will have different types of recommendation to do different yajnas. Like we read in Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, Bharat Maharaj, when he was a king, he was also doing different yajnas as per his ashrama. So he was a grahastha, he was a king, and he was performing different yajnas for the pleasure of the Lord, but as per his ashrama. Eveti manaha, eveti iti, like this, manaha samadhaya. So manaha samadhaya means he fixes his mind like that. Sa sattvika. So that yajna is considered a sattvic yajna. So the characteristics are afala kankshabir, so devoid of the desire for the result. Vidhi dristo. So second one is vidhi vidhan. So whatever is written properly by our acharyas, we follow that. Yastabhyam, so whatever is your duty to be performed, you follow, like Agnihotra. So in Vedic ages, the Agnihotris were the Brahmanas, who will do this Agnihotra 3 times a day minimum. Now today, there are many Agnihotris in India. I come from North India, so there are many Agnihotris. They never light any Agni, except when they want to cook for themselves. So they are not the Agnihotris actually. They just have the surname. They have Chaturvedi surname, Trivedi. There are some Tiwaris as well. How many Tiwaris and Trivedis know the Vedas? Only God knows. So that's not the point. But the point is, based on your actions, you get a surname. But now it has just the reverse. Yastapyam eveti mana. Mataji, I'm also same. So Mataji is smiling. I think she is a Tiwari. I'm also a Tiwari. Tiwari means one who has read 3 Vedas. So I have not read any Vedas, but I got this surname from my father, from my family. But the point of the Vedic culture was, based on your qualification, you used to get the title. Nowadays, we just get the title in inheritance. We have hardly any qualification for that. So that was not the purpose. Mana samadhaya, and our mind should be fixed. So we are not like when we are sitting in yajna, we're thinking about, so who's in my shop? How many customers coming today? Are we losing some business today because I'm sitting again? All those things. No, mana samadhaya. What you are doing very properly. You're fixing your mind in that activity which you should perform as per your ashrama, and you do not desire any result back from that. That's sattvika. Such a high level of thinking. Even to think this, it feels good in the heart. So let's see what the passionate people do when they do the yajna. Anyone else? Raghi Mataji, would you like to do, if your situation allows? If not, that's
yes,
okay.
Prabhuji, yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Sorry.
That's okay.
12th one. Abhisandhya tu phalam
Abhisandhaya tu phalam
dambhartam api chaiva yat
dambhartam api chaiva yat
ijyate bharata shrestha
ijjate bharata shrestha
tam yajnam vidhi rajasam.
tam yagyam vidhi rajasam.
Translation. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of the Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion.
Thank you, Mataji. So Abhisandhaya, Prabhupada recites as desiring, or you can say attachment as well. So Abhisandhaya tu phalam. So what was the previous verse? Afala kankshabir. So there's no kanksha for the phala, but here is saying definitely there's a kanksha for the phala. So I am performing this yajna, so my wealth will increase. In India, there are many brahmanas. If you do this yajna, your business will increase. If you do this puja, that will increase in your family, something like that. So abhisandhaya tu phalam, they are very much desirous of the phala of that yajna. Only because of the desire they're doing the yajna. Dambhartham. So what's the second characteristic here? Damba. Dekha maine kitna bada yajna kiya. Someone was saying, I have this Ganesh Chaturthi. They have these deities of Lord Ganesha in their house, which is nice. But someone was saying, I have a deity which cost me 100,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees. You only have 10,000 rupees deity. So they're not worshipping Ganesha, they're worshipping their own ego basically, and they're showing off how rich I am. I can buy a bigger deity of Ganesha. If they can get the blessing. Sorry, Mataji.
Prabhu used to say, even Deva, oh Deva, Ganapati Deva, that song.
Yeah.
Say Padkaruko, like who is more wealthier than me, like even the song also.
Yes. And next line, Mata.
I
You're speaking Hindi, I'm so happy.
I was surprised.
और तुम्हारे भक्त जनों में हमसे बढ़कर कौन? Amongst your devotees, who can be greater devotee than us? So Dambhartham, huh? So they're showing off basically there. So the worship of Ganesh is very nice. You get the blessings of Ganesh. He's a Vaishnava, huh? But showing off the deities or how rich I am in worshipping the deity, that's not very nice. Okay, so 2 characteristics, they are attached to the phala and they do the show up. Ijjate Bharata Shrestha Tam Yagyam Vidhi Rajasam. So Ijjate means they worship like that. So 2 characteristics are given here. Now, what was the previous characteristics? Anyone remembers the 3 characteristics of the previous verse, 17:11? You can say in Hindi or English, whatever. Simple. So just go opposite basically. So Abhisandhaya, the opposite was Afala Kankshipir. There's no Kanksha for the Phala. And Dambhartam. And what was that? Vidhi. So it was based on the Vidhi. It was not based on Dambha. And the third characteristic was? Manasamadhi. Thank you, Mata. Thank you, Mata. So their mind was fixed in doing that duty. That is very, very important. Okay, the third one. This is very nice. 17:13. Who hasn't done as yet? I can see Rupam Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Okay, not sure he's available. Vijay Mataji?
Yes, bro.
Okay.
Sorry, bro. Can I do later?
Yes.
A few things.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.
Vidhihinam asrastanam.
Vidhihinam ashashtanam. This is
Mantrahi.
annam. So basically this is annamata. Annam. Ashashtanam. Ashashta means distribution.
Okay. Vidhihinam asastranam, mantrahinam adakshinam.
Mantrahinam adakshinam.
Shraddhavirahitam yagnam.
Shraddhavirahitam yagyam.
Tamasam parichakshate.
Tamasam parichakshate.
Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of scriptures, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting the Vedic hymns and remunerations to the priest, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, vidhihinam. So if you remember the sattva, they were following the vidhis. Ashashtanam. So this is very important. This means you do not distribute any food or prasadam after that yajna. Now, Prabhupada emphasized so much on that. You would have heard when Prabhupada went to America, he had practically no money. But even within that situation, Prabhupada will distribute apple slices to whoever comes. So he will take an apple or two and he will cut into different slices and distribute it. So the principle was maintained. So whatever is possible for you, you should try to distribute. Mantrahinam, there's no mantras. Like nowadays, when we're talking about this Ganesh Puja, people play Bollywood and Hollywood songs in the Ganesh Puja or other similar pujas as well. Adakshinam, so they do not pay anything to the priest who's performing. So that's also a very important aspect. Is said without dakshina, the yajna is not complete. So you should offer dakshina. Shraddha virahitam yagyam. So there is no shraddha. Now, if you remember in the first verse, in the Sattvika, they mana samadhaya yastabhyam. Yastabhyam means based on your ashrama, you were doing that yajna. But here, shraddha, there's no shraddha there. There's no faith in what you are doing. You're just doing for the sake of doing. Yagyam tamasam parichakshate. So this is called yajna, sacrifice in mode of ignorance. Now, after talking about this, we'll talk about the austerity. Now, for the austerity, Krishna will spend 6 verses. So first, he'll talk about the austerity of mind, body, and speech. And then he will talk about austerity done in goodness, passion, and ignorance. And then we'll talk about the dan or charity. So let's see this austerity. They are also very famous verses. Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj came to Sydney a few years ago, and he had a seminar, a power of speech or something like that, related speech. And he used these verses. Very, very beautiful seminar it was. Okay, 1714. Who hasn't done as yet? He can do. Manmohan Prabhu, would you like to do one?
Sure, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Devadvija Guru Prajna
Devadvija Guru Pragya
Pujanam Shochamarjavam
Pujanam Socham Arjavam
Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha
Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha
Shariram Tap Uchyate.
Shariram Tapa Uchyate.
Translation: austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you. So Deva. Now Deva refers to devatas or demigods, and here Prabhupada writes Supreme Lord. So Krishna is also a devata, but he is the Adi Devata. He is not just one of the devata, he is Adi Devata. We call him Adi Purush. Like in Bhagavatam, we have this verse, Nimnaganam Yatha Ganga, Deva Nam Achito Yatha. So out of devatas, out of all the things which go down, Ganga is the Shesha, Ganga is the supreme, and of all the devatas, Krishna is the supreme. So Krishna can also be considered as devata, but not just a devata, he is the Adi Devata. It is the source of the Devata. So Deva refers to Supreme Lord. Divija refers to the Brahmanas twice born. Like we have this Brahman initiation in our Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Dvija means who has taken the second birth as well. So one birth take from the mother, second birth he taken Yajna by the Guru. Now the third category is Gurus. Now all the Guru will be a Dvija as well, right? Obviously. But out of all the Dvijas, one person will be your Guru. Say Diksha Guru, for example, or your Siksha Guru. And again, Siksha Guru can be many. Pragya means who has lot of intelligence. So there are many people in the society who may have lot of intelligence. Like even in devotee circle, we know there are many nice saints which has happened in the past or in the present as well. They may not belong to the Gaudiya Sampradaya, but they are valid bona fide Sampradaya, say from Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and they're very advanced Vaishnavas. So they are considered Pragya. Prabhupada writes, worshipable personalities. In the real sense we are talking. In the real sense we are talking. Puja Nam. So Puja Nam refers to Puja ke yogya, worthy of the puja. Now here puja does not mean you take aarti thali and you start worshipping, your Mosaji and Mosiji, something like that, which we can do. That's a part of respect, but puja refers to respect, who are worthy of giving respect. There can be elderly people, there can be knowledgeable people, there can be different categories whom you consider as your inspiration. Pujana. Shaucham refers to, as we have discussed many times, external cleanliness and internal. But again, internal is more important. Arjavam means simplicity. Prabhupada writes straightforwardness, as Prabhupada wrote elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita. He said Arjavam means so simple that you can even open your heart to your enemy. You can give the most secret thing of your life to your enemy. Now, we may not able to follow that principle in the same terms in the today's world, but the point is, as Prabhupada said, simple living and high thinking. So our life, coming back to Vijay Gopi Mataji's point, so Prabhupada wrote in NOI first verse, simple living and high thinking. Simply not just living for the sake of living for the sake of just maintaining the body and soul together, and spending most of our time as much as possible to think about the higher goals. One example is given, eagle. Eagle flies very high in the sky, but where are the eyes of the eagle? On the meat on the earth. So he's always looking at dead animals. So wherever the dead animals there, so he's flying very high, but his eyes are very low. But we should be other way. We may live very simple, but our vision should be very big. Prabhupada said, there's only one problem with me. I cannot think small. I think very big. Once Prabhupada was asked in the very beginning days, when there was no ISKCON, Prabhupada was alone and struggling, and so much was going on. and he will sit on the Boston Pier and think sometime I can catch a ship back to India. There was so much going on that time, and Prabhupada was not getting any so-called success. So sometimes he will think about going back to India. And that time, I think a bus driver asked Prabhupada, so Swamiji or a Swami, so what do you have? And he said, I have hundreds of disciples and thousands of books and so many branches. He was talking about that. He didn't even have one disciple or one branch. Even for his place where he was living was, very, very simple. But he had this vision that one day I will have all this, and it happened. And it happened. Obviously, he was a pure devotee. Many times we also think like that. We'll become billionaire. I will have 10,000 people working for me, this and that. That's called daydreaming. That's called it. But Prabhupada had this vision based on his faith on Krishna, not just his own ego, like we have many times this ego. हम बड़ा बन के दिखाएंगे. I will show you. I will go to foreign countries and I will earn this and that. That's just ego. But Prabhupada had this faith on Krishna and on his spiritual master that with their mercy, Prabhupada will be able to do what he could do. So Arjavam, and Chaitanya Prabhu says many times, simple living and high thinking, not just simply living and hardly thinking. So hardly thinking, Prabhu said, not that you're not thinking, but hardly thinking about the higher goals of life. Everyone is thinking. Even animals are thinking, not what to speak of humans. There, Prabhupada writes in first canto, second chapter, even the birds are chirping in the morning, and what they are looking, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They're chirping from the very morning, early morning, the birds are chirping, chirping, chirping. They're asking where I will find food, where I will find a good partner, and how I will defend myself. So everyone is chirping, 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 but chirping about what? We are chatting about what? That's important. So when we talk about high thinking about not expanding our entanglement in the world, but expanding our spiritual visions, getting higher association. Brahmacharyam ahimsa cha. So brahmacharyam is celibacy. Again, brahmacharyam is to control lust. Ahimsa is to control your krodha. So we all are under many times lust and greed and anger. So that can be controlled by practicing brahmacharya and ahimsa. Shariram tapa uchate. So that is the practice of austerity of sharira, of body. Now let's talk about the austerity of speech, I guess. Vangmayam, yeah, Vangmayam is speech. So what's the austerity of speech? Krishna explains. This is a very famous verse. It should be in the list as well. I'm not sure Rupam Prabhu has this in the list, but should be in the list. Okay, who hasn't done? Satyavamata, would you like to do? If you can.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my voice is completely gone.
No problem. We can get someone else. Go back to Rasanand Prabhu.
I can do it, Prabhu.
Okay, if you like, Mataji.
Yeah. Anudvegakaram vakyam.
Anudvegakaram vakyam.
Satyam priyahitam chayat.
Satyam priyahitam chayat.
Swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva.
Swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva.
Vanmayam tapa uchyate.
Vanmayam tapa uchyate.
Translation. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. This is a very, very nice verse, and we should try to hang this verse in our wall because it will save many, many things. Definitely spiritually and practically as well. Let's see why. Anudvega karam vakyam. So the very first austerity of his speech, what Krishna says, do not speak agitating words. Now imagine how many times in a day, in a week, in a month, we do this, and many times, if not all the times, many relationship get hurt because of our insensitivity in the speech. We speak something which may not mean it. I went to one Gurudwara once. I think I've only been once or twice in my life, but anyway, so this priest in Gurudwara was telling very nice thing. He gave a little speech, and I was trying to understand because it was in Punjabi. Anyway, so he said, we have this 2-inch tongue in our mouth. Everyone has this tongue which is 2-inch. And he said it doesn't have any bone, but it can work in such a way it can break bones. Isn't it? You say something, and just because you said something, people get angry and they attack, they retaliate, or they may say something back. So this tongue is very, very important. Prabhupada said, if your tongue is engaged in chanting Hare Krishna, then you'll not speak any harsh words. So I know it's difficult for me as well, but anyways, it's point to meditate on. We should try to speak very with sensitivity. Am I going to hurt someone else with my speech, or I'm going to help someone else with my speech? And if something which is going to come to your tongue, which is not going to help others, maybe we should not speak. Sometimes they have this Vaka Yuddha. Vaka Yuddha means a person A will say something, then the B will say on top of it, and then A will say on top of that, and on top of that, and whoever stops, that's considered defeated person. See, now you cannot say anything. Huh? In India, it happens a lot. Especially if two Matajis are fighting on the well or on the tap, sometimes even men as well. Huh? And they will shout, shout, and then one Mataji or Prabhuji will stop, and then another person will consider himself as a victorious person just because of his speech, and then they may not speak for the rest of their own life. So anudvega, no udvega. Huh? So we should try to control the speech. Rupa Goswami says the very first thing you should control, vacho vegam. Vacho vegam. We get this vega, we get this urge to speak, and many times nonsense, many times, if not all the time. So stop. Anudvega karam vakyam. So our vakya should not agitate others. Now, if you can have this one line, forget about devotional life, material life will improve, isn't it? If we have this, speak in a sweet way, not in a buttering way, in a sweet way. And what are the three qualities of that vakya? Should be satyam, priyam, hitam. It should be satya, it should be truthful. And if possible, it should be spoken in a priya way. Priya means palatable way. Huh? Now, sometimes sadhus have to speak satya, which is unpalatable. But that's for very highly elevated person. Like Prabhupada also said some things to his disciples, which was not very palatable to his disciple, but he had a relationship with his disciple. He had compassion for them. He was pure in his intentions. Now, we don't have right. Many times we think we are preaching and we can speak harshly. That's not the correct understanding of preaching. Preaching should bring people closer to Krishna, not alienate them from Krishna consciousness. And because of harsh speech, sometimes I've heard in a lecture, I've not seen it, Radha Govind Maharaj was telling, some people while preaching say, please raise your hand. If some people doesn't raise the hand, this person is saying, if you don't raise your hand, next time when you take birth, you'll not have hands. So this preacher is telling, if you do not raise hands, next time when you take birth, you will not have hands. Now imagine what sort of instruction you are giving to the people. This is extremely harsh, extremely harsh. That's not preaching. That's not preaching. If someone is not raising hands for whatever reason, you can't say that. Huh? It's nice if you raise hands for Krishna, but if you can't raise hand, or if you don't raise hand for whatever reason, that's not what the preaching is. Devakinandan Prabhu, a very senior devotee, he was telling once, we should do preaching all the time and speak only when required. We should do preaching all the time. Everyone can preach all the time. You're in your kitchen, you're in your garden, you're in bus. You're passing a message with your personality, what you're wearing, what you're saying, how you're presenting yourself in a speech wise. So this is all preaching. Preaching is not only just giving class. Someone was saying, so I should also start preaching. Like, what does it mean? What does it mean? Giving classes? That's one part of it. That's one part of it. And that also should be done only when it's given to you, not when you're taking it. So given to you is called seva. When you're taking it, it's called karma. Many times in Krishna consciousness also we do karma, not seva. Seva means it is given to us for the pleasure of our seniors. And karma is you snatch it. You snatch it. In a positive way or a negative way. We should never do that. If some devotee is doing seva and you go, and I've seen devotees snatching seva. One devotee has done all the setup for Damodar Diyas. This person is working for last half an hour. I can see that. Another person comes on the spot and he say, you know what? I will distribute it now. without even considering that does this devotee wants to do it, wants to give it to you. So we should not do that. We should take the seva out of love. So someone should have trust in you. And then he said, Mataji, would you like to do that? Or Prabhuji, would you like to do that? Huh? And he will say, no, I'm not eligible. I'm happy to assist you. Many times we want to become at the very front. God, that's nice. You get praises, but that's not what is going to please Krishna. The seva should be done in the mood of pleasing the seniors and to Krishna, not to show off. Then it becomes in mode of passion. So Satyam, Priya is very, very important. And Hitam, it should do Hita. One time, maybe antidote only, like a made-up story, but it's been said by our sannyasis as well. Someone went to Socrates and said, did you hear what happened in the village? And Socrates said, okay, before you tell me that, is it true? He said, I'm not sure. People are saying like that. He said, okay, the first test failed. Second, even if it is true, is it Priya? He said, no, that's a very harsh thing what I'm going to tell you. He said, okay, second test failed. And third, is it going to do benefit to me? He said, no, it's not going to benefit you. And he said, then don't tell me. It's called triple filter. So we should do a triple filter. Is it Satya? Is it Priya? Now, again, as I said, not all the Satyas will be Priya. Your spiritual master may say to you, Prabhu, you're not serious in your chanting. You must chant nicely. And you may not like it in the beginning. But that's the what he's passing the message to you. But it is for your hita and it is Satya. So Priya may be compromised. Again, not every situation. But like when Vidura went to Dhritarashtra after Mahabharata war, he spoke harshly to Dhritarashtra. He spoke in a way which was not very palatable to Dhritarashtra, but that cut the attachment of Dhritarashtra. So sadhus sometimes do that, but the purpose is hita. So do we have that purpose of hita in our mind? When we speak some apriya, we should reconsider that. So we should speak in a way which is going to benefit to this living entity. And it should be Satya Vakya, not our emotional, or I have these emotions, I have to vet out on someone. Stop. And now you may have another relationship for that. You may have your friends or family for that. But Satya, Priya, and Hita, very important. Next, Prabhupada, Swadhyay. We were talking about Swadhyay, reading Prabhupada books. Here it is. We must do this Swadhyay. Someone was telling actually, really, I only like to listen but not reading. But actually, Shastra says you should listen and read. Then you can reconcile both. Listening is very, very nice, but reading is also nice, especially for the neophyte devotees like us, aspiring devotees like us. Swadhyay is very important. We must read. Even if we don't understand it in the beginning, we must read. Swadhyay Abhyasanam. And after Swadhyay, what you should do? Abhyas. Not just I read it. Lal Govind Prabhu makes this nice story. One preacher was saying in his class, we should not eat onion and garlic. And when he went home, his wife didn't put onion and garlic in the sabji, and he was very angry with his wife. And he said, why didn't you put onion and garlic? There's no swad, there is no taste today in the sabji. And she said, you only told in the class. He said, that was for the class. But at home, you should put double tadka of onion and garlic. So we do swadhyay, we do preaching as well. We speak very nice words. We look very nice devotee. Are we doing abhyas? So Keshav Maharaj said, we can fool some people all the time. We can fool all the people sometime. We cannot fool all the people all the time. Unless abhyas is there. Like Prabhupada, many devotees said, Prabhupada had no private life. You can walk in Prabhupada's room at 2 o'clock in the night, 2 p.m. in the afternoon. You can look him at the airport. You can look him in a terrace of an apartment. He is exactly same all the time. Why? He has done abhyas of what he is speaking, and that's why he had so much potency. Now, when we speak, no one listens because we don't have any purity or very little purity. So when we do abhyas, we become very strong. Prabhupada said, if you do abhyas of Shastra for 12 years, then after 12 years, whatever you say will be perfect. Prabhupada said that. So we should do abhyas. And many times we fail just because we don't do abhyas. Or at least we should do struggle in abhyas. But we should have the desire. I'm failing, but I want to do this. I want to do this. Many times we don't even have that desire. So abhyas is very important. Vang mayam tapa uchate. These are the tapa of Vani. Okay, Manmohan Prabhu or Mataji.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
This is a note Satyam Priyam Hitam.
Yes.
So often when we are doing the outreach and the new devotees come,
Yeah.
still have to speak the truth.
Yes.
So when it comes to
But palatable truth.
Krishna's supremacy, they are
Yes.
okay with that. But
Yes.
when it comes to discussion about the Devatas and like
Yes.
actually Lord Shiva,
Yes.
and telling them that Lord Shiva is a devotee of Krishna,
Yep.
then it's not really, it doesn't go down well because they have different faiths. And
Absolutely. Yes.
at that time, how do we tackle? Because
Yes.
still have to speak the truth.
Absolutely. So truth
For
is
the
not
Hemanga,
just
but
a statement.
yeah.
Truth can be again a range. So initially, suppose your child is small, your child is 5 years old, you still have to tell him or her the truth. But do you tell everything what you will tell a 24-year-old man or woman? No. So you're not lying to your children, but you only present what they can take. So in the stage of preaching, that you have to decide as a mature preacher, not telling the lie, but only tell what is palatable to them at that stage, because they are like a children at this stage. They cannot accept or digest everything which you're going to tell, which is suitable for a 24-year-old man or woman. So you tell them as a child. So you tell them what they can digest basically, and that is the experience or maturity of the preacher, and that's how effective you will become. So you will still say the truth, you will still say in a Priya way for their hita, but only that much which they can digest. So, okay. And many times because of this reason, devotees have ruined other people's life because they've just told too much in one day without being sensitive to their needs. Like we all come from different background. You may have been worshipping Lord Shiva for whole life practically, and there's nothing wrong with that. Lord Shiva is the great devotee. He is like Bhagwan. But what's Lord Shiva's relationship with Lord Krishna? That may be a very high topic, very, very high topic. And from day one, you don't have to talk about Ras Leela. That's a true thing, but it's Priya thing as well. It's a Hita thing as well. But can you present it? Are we eligible to present? Are they eligible to hear? And we have discussed that Prabhupada went to some host house and he said, Prabhupada, I want to hear Ras Leela. Prabhupada said, no, maybe something else. No, Prabhupada, I want to hear Ras Leela. And Prabhupada said, maybe you're eligible to hear. I'm not eligible to speak about it. So Prabhupada still following these principles, but he knew they're not ready to hear. And he stepped back. He didn't say, oh, Mr. Host or Mrs. Host, you're not eligible to hear about Ras Leela. He said, I am not eligible to speak about it. So that's the maturity of preacher. And if you are mature and sensitive, as Radhavan Maharaj said, you can do wonders in preaching, wonders in preaching. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very nice question. Okay, 1716. Manasam Tapa. Who wants to read? Anyone can read that. Okay, then I can say, Vijay Mataji, would you like to read?
I can do it, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, go for it, Prabhu. Akhandasa, Prabhu.
Text 16. Manaha prasada samyatam.
Manaha prasada samyatvam.
Manunam atma vinigraha.
Maunam atma vinigraha.
Bhava samasuddhir iti etat.
Bhava samsuddhir iti etat.
Tapo manasam uchyate.
Tapo manasam uchyate.
And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind.
Thank you, Prabhu. So manaha prasadaha. So it's starting from the first word is prasadaha, refers to satisfaction. And we were discussing earlier. So satisfaction is not an emotion. Emotion means I don't feel satisfied with my current car or my current phone. No, that's not the point. It has to be a decision. No, I am satisfied unless I need a higher car for the seva of Krishna. One sannyasi was saying, and I think I've discussed it, you don't buy a car or a phone. He talked about the phone. Okay. So he said, you don't buy a phone and then put it in the service of Krishna. You buy a phone when you need it for the service of Krishna. Now, if we do that principle, apply that principle in our life, imagine how many things we can eliminate from our life. Unnecessary things, I mean, unnecessary things. So we think this altar is needed for Krishna seva, then only you buy the altar. Then only you buy the car, then only you buy the house or your curtain or whatever it is. If you do that principle, as much as possible, we can make our life very, very simple. Because devotee starts from manaha prasada, is satisfied. Santushto yena kenachit. I think 12th chapter or in 13th chapter, we read Santushto yena kenachit. Kisi na kisi prakar se, whatever comes in his life or her life, he is just satisfied with it. Unless it's interrupting his seva, he's like, okay, Krishna want me to stay like this today. I'm happy. I'm happy. He's not complaining about it. My bed is not good, so let me buy another bed. Bed may be perfect. Maybe something else in your mind is not good and you're blaming the bed. So manaha prasada, satisfied. Somyatam. Somyatam means without being duplicit towards others. So we are not being duplicit. Somya. You remember Arjun asked Krishna to show your Somya Rupa. Somya Rupa means soft, sundar, sweet. That Rupa. So Somya. So a devotee lives with Somya, not being duplicit. Because if you lie, says to one person, then you have to lie to another person. And to say one lie, you have to another make 100 lie. That's what the saying is. The point is, it's not very nice. As much as possible, we being truthful, simple. Maunam. Now, mauna is not the austerity of the speech. Mauna is the austerity of mind. Why? Because mauna first have to be adopted in the mind before it comes to the speech. Suppose your mind is very agitated. Can you follow the mauna vrata? Many swamis take mauna vrata and they speak more than a normal person because they keep writing on the whiteboard or blackboard, and they will make different sort of gestures of the body. I heard in a lecture, I think from Nitai Sevani Mataji, that one Mataji, which Nitai Sevani Mataji was referring the lecture, she will take this mauna vrata on Tuesday or Wednesday or some days, and then all day there was a fight in the house. Because she will try to say something, other family people will not understand it or misunderstand it. This Mataji will get angry. Oh, I'm saying this and you're understanding that. And the whole family will get stressed out on Tuesday because Mataji is going to take a mauna vrata on that day. So that sort of mauna vrata is not important because her mind is agitated. So the purpose of mauna vrata is just to stay calm and just focus on a higher things. So if that's not happening, your mind is agitated and you are getting angry on others because they're not understanding your mauna language. So the whole family is stressed out and they're scared of when the Tuesday comes because today it will be some arguments in the house or dissatisfaction in the house. So that is not the mauna. The mauna has to be in the mind, and when your mind is mauna, then your Vani doesn't have to speak, or you can speak. And Prabhupada says the best Vani is Krishna devotee who speaks only about Krishna, because our Vani, our speech is chaste to Krishna, like a chaste wife who always serves the husband. Our Vani is chaste to Krishna, which means our Vani only speaks about Krishna. When the nonsense topic comes, the topic of movies or cricket or whatever, we become Mona. I don't know. Now, you really should not know. Not that you just say, and you know, cricket score kitna hai? I don't know whether the cricket match is going on. And I have gone to some programs and devotees are checking cricket score while class is going on. I don't know how important that cricket score is. That sort of mana is not taken. Prabhupada said the best money is you only speak about Krishna, and then you can speak about Krishna whole day and you're still a mana. So Prabhupada was the best money because he will speak about Krishna whole day to the different people. He will go out and preach. And in the night, it says he will speak to people who will not come to hear Krishna Katha because he will write books and he will ask his disciples or followers to go and distribute the books. Because they didn't come to temple, so okay, temple will go to them, books will go to them and speak to them about Krishna. Atma Vinigara, this is called Sayam, which we have read many times. avasham suddhir. So what you have to do, purify your existence. Purify your existence is a manas tapa. It's not a vani tapa, it's not a sharir tapa, because everything starts from your mind. If you want to go to temple, what is the first thing you will do? You'll not sit in the car the first thing. Your mind has to think, today is Ekadashi or tomorrow is Ekadashi. I should go to temple. I should take darshan of Gopinath. I want to do some seva for Gopinath. I want to serve Vaishnavas in my house. It all starts from mind. Then you'll talk about it. Okay, I want to invite, many devotees are inviting Radha Damodar deities, Yashoda Damodar deities, this Kartik. Very nice. They start from the mind. And then they go to the words. They speak to some devotee or devotees, and then they arrange accordingly. Tapomanasam. It's a beautiful verse, and we should again meditate on these verses, 15, 16, very, very nice verses. And that will really improve our devotional life. And that's the whole idea. 17. Just open up. Okay, Vijaya Mataji, I think you can read now.
Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastatribidham narai apalakankshivyuktai satvikam parichakshate. This threefold austerity performed with transcendental faith by men not expecting material benefits but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme is called austerity in goodness.
So before we go into the verse, so now 17, 18, 19 is talking about austerity in goodness, passion, and ignorance. As I said, there's 6 verses given for austerity. So first we read the mind, body, and words, and now we're reading about the austerity itself. So what are the characteristics? Shraddhaya parya. This is very important. He has to have shraddha. And we read that in the earlier verse as well. The person who's doing yajna in sattva have this shraddha. So what sort of shraddha he has? Parya Prabhupada writes as transcendental shraddha. Transcendental shraddha. So he has this trust in the Supreme. Shraddhaya parya taptam tapasta trividham naraiha afalakankshabir. So again, the similar word is used here. There's no, so if he's doing austerity, for example, he's following Ekadashi, so he's not thinking, oh, I'll follow Ekadashi and I'll increase my wealth or my health will improve or whatever like afalakankshabir. It's my duty. Let's first start from the duty, obviously. Then we start from pleasing the Lord. First start from the duty without any expectation in the result. Satvikam parichakshate. So the 2 main characteristics, paraya shraddhaya and afalakankshabir. Let's see the characteristics of mode of passion, austerity. Anyone who hasn't done as yet, he can do. Okay, Shraddha Mataji, you ready to unmute? She loves Sanskrit verses.
Okay. Satkaramana pujartham.
Satkaramana pujartham.
Tapodambhena chaivayat.
Tapodambhena chaivayat.
Kriyate tadihe proktam.
Kriyate tad iha proktam.
Rajasam chalam dhruvam.
Rajasam chalam adhruvam.
Translation. Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent.
Thank you, Mataji. So satkar. So what they are expecting now, the sattvic austerity was no expectation. Here is saying satkar man pujartham. So the first thing is, mujhe satkar milega. Will I be worshipped or will I be respected in the society? So the whole motive behind doing any yajna or puja, you see, and many examples, especially in Indian societies, you can see they have this pratishtha honi chahiye. My respect should be maintained or should increase. That's how they do tapa. I'm doing this 5 Somvar, 5 Monday vrata of Saman, or I'm doing Navratri vrata, this and that, which is nice. But their mind is constantly hankering for that satkar, man. Tapo dambhena chaiva. Again, the show of things are there. Kriyate tad iha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. So what sort of they are chalaiman. Chalai means chalaiman shraddha. So today they will do this vrata, tomorrow they will do another vrata. Huh? Because their shraddha is not fixed. Like we are doing vratas or puja only for Krishna. There is no other motive. Now we respect everyone else as well. But our shraddha is in only one personality, and that's very scientific. Adhruvam. Adhruvam is not permanent. It's neither stable, not permanent. So the results are not very stable or permanent. Even if you gain some result, they are going to be taken away because you have done in a material sense. Next one, which is the mode of ignorance. Rasalan Prabhu, have you done it today? I'm not sure.
Mataji.
Can I do
Mataji.
Prabhu?
Okay, please, Mataji.
Mudagrahane atmanayat.
Grahidatmano yat
Vidyaya kriyate tapaha.
Pidaya kriyate tapaha
Vayasya utsadanartam va.
Parasyo utsadanartham va
Tattamasam udahritam.
Tattamasam udaharatam.
Penance performed out of foolishness, with self-torture, or to destroy or injure others, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So Mudha first starts with foolish. Grahinatma. So they're doing lot of endeavor, but with foolishness. Pidaya kriyate tapa. So they do pida. Pida means torturing. So they do self-torture or they have a purpose of torturing others. Anyone remembers a yajna done by someone, which was the purpose of, he was torturing himself. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. Vrakasur. Huh? So Vrakasur was cutting his the flesh of his body to please Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva came very fast. Huh? So for 9 days or 10 days, something like that. So he was cutting his flesh and finally he was going to cut his head. So Lord Shiva came not out of pleasing with the Vrakasur. He's a Vaishnava. He's like, you want me? Okay, I'm here. Take what you want. Huh? So Lord Shiva is so compassionate. And that's why he's called Bholenath. Bholenath means he's Bhola. He's Bhola. He came and gave this boon to Vrakasur. And what Vrakasur wanted, whomever head I touch, he should get destroyed. And he wanted to touch the head of Lord Shiva himself. Lord Shiva is like, what sort of devotees I have to deal with? They should not be even called devotees. They are just a business people. They are business people. So they do something, gain a result from Lord Shiva, then try to destroy Lord Shiva and gain Mother Parvati for enjoyment. And if you see Dhruva, when he went to Lord Vishnu, he also had some material motives. But because he was worshipping Lord Vishnu under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, what happened? After 6 months, Lord Vishnu said, ask what you want. And he said, I don't want anything. Huh? I'm just completely satisfied by your darshan. Now, this is the difference between this puja. He has done two things. One, he has gone to Lord Vishnu, who is in charge of mode of goodness, or I should say pure goodness, and he did that under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. He followed exactly what his spiritual master said. So his material feelings were purified. But Vrakasur also went under Narad Muni. Vrakasur also went under Narad. So he asked Narad Muni, I want lot of Shakti and I want to enjoy my life. Whom should I go, Lord Shiva or Vishnu? So Narad Muni understood his intention. He said, if he goes to Vishnu, Vishnu will take a lot of time. You go to Lord Shiva. So he knew exactly what's going to happen. So he only recommended to go to Lord Shiva, not to Dhruva. He recommended to go to Lord Vishnu because he knew his intentions. Huh? But to Vrakasur, and then Vrakasur when he went to Lord Shiva, and we know the whole story. And then he actually blasted himself. So Pidaya Kriyate. Or we can take the example of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu had this intention to destroy Lord Vishnu, and he went to Lord Brahma, and he did very, very self-torture tapa for some say 36,000 years, some say 55,000 years. Anyway, so thousands of years he did this, but for what purpose? To destroy, to kill Vishnu. Pidaya Kriyate. Now the next word is Parasya utsadan artham, for the sake of causing annihilation. So this is Hiranyakashipu basically. This is Hiranyakashipu worship. Tattam samudahartam. This is all in mode of ignorance, that tapasya. Okay, now we talk about Dan. 720. Mahasa Prabhu, you want to do one?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Datvayam iti yaddanam
Datavyam iti yaddanam
diyate nukaparine
diyate anupakarine
deshe kale cha patre cha
deshe kale cha patre cha
taddanam satvikam smritam.
taddanam satvikam smritam.
Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness.
Thank you. Datavyam. Datavyam means he is worthy recipient. Like sometimes say on Ekadashi, we should give charity to worthy brahmanas, not to any brahmanas, to worthy brahmanas. So Datavyam, he is worthy of worthy recipient of the charity. So we should look for those brahmanas or suitable people. Diyate, when we are giving it, na anupakarine. So we are not expecting any upakar back. So I am giving you $100 today. So tomorrow, can you please help me in something. Huh? So when we are giving, we don't have any asha, any desire in our heart that this person will give me back something. And deshe kale cha patre cha. So we consider desha. Desha means sthan. So where we are giving, like we are giving charity in Vrindavan, or in temple, or we are giving on the road. So that we should consider kale, which kal? Now we give charity on say on Ekadashi or on Janmashtami. Very auspicious, patre, and to a suitable candidate. Taddanam satvikam nisatam. That sort of dan is very noble. Now, in general, modern society consider any donation very charitable, and you give charity for the cause of saving children. And then when you give charity, what do? They kill to the children who are disturbed, mentally disturbed, or whatever this. So that sort of charity is not recommended by our Shastra. Deshe kale cha patre, everything you should consider. Which desh you are giving, which sthan you are giving, to whom you are giving, and in which kal you are giving. So if you want to give a noble charity, charity in mode of goodness, you should consider all this, not to anyone and any time. That sort of charity is not recommended. 1721. Radhi Mataji, would you like to do one more?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yattu pratyupakara yattu
So if you break the word, it's upakar artham. So upakar artham. So, prati upakar artham.
Pratyupakartham.
Yattu prati upakarartham.
Yattu pratyupakarartham. Yeah. Phalam uddishya va punah.
Phalam uddishya va punah.
Diyate cha pariklishtam.
Diyate cha pariklishtam.
Taddanam rajasam smritam.
Taddanam rajasam smritam.
Translation. But charity performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for fruitful results or in a grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion.
Thank you, Mataji. So, tu. Anyone remembers another verse? A very, very famous verse which has this word tu. Krishna's tu. Tu means but. So all the incarnations are there. Tu, Krishna's tu, Bhagavan Swayam. He is Swayam Bhagavan. So tu. So he's talking about the mode of goodness, charity. Now saying, but if you give charity, pratyukarartham, that means we have a asha, we have a desire in the heart. I have done a favor to you, Prabhuji. Do you remember my favor? So if I'm doing some sort of charity or some sort of support to a devotee, that's actually mode of passion. Many times we may also have this feeling of, I'm doing so much for this devotee is not doing anything to me. Now, as a human, we all have that feeling, but we should not focus on that feeling. We should not meditate on that. So it says in Hindi, Neki kar darya mein dal. Even in Hindi is saying, that means Vijay Gopi Mataji and Rasanand Prabhu, if you do any neki, if you do any good deed, after doing the good deed, you should put it in the river. That means you should not remember. You should not remember, because if you remember, you will have expectation. I have done so much for this person, and how come this person is not reciprocating? Huh? So neki kar, if you do any good thing, you should put in darya, means in river or something like that. Huh? It says charity done by right hand should not be known by the left hand. Huh? So it's a very high principle, but the point here is when you do it, it should not have any expectation out of that. But this person has expectation, prati upkarartham, palam uddishya vapuna. So again and again, he has this desire in the heart. Diyache diyate cha pariklishtam. Pariklishtam, Prabhupada says grudgingly. Grudgingly means resentfully. You're giving, but resenting on that. What to say? My father has said, so I have to give $100 to these brahmanas. Huh? Suppose your father has said, give the dachana. So you are giving dachana as a dutiful son, but how you are resenting on that, grudgingly. ठीक है, अब तो देना ही पड़ेगा. I have to give because my father has said. Huh? So that sort of charity is not very nice. Huh? So two things are given here: pariklishtam and prati upkarartham. So again, we can meditate on these words for ourselves. So when we give any charity, we should not have any feeling of this coming back to us. Sometimes they say, if you give, tum ek paisa doge, wo 10 lakh dega. So translation: if you give 1 paisa, Indian paisa, the God will give you 10 lakh rupees. So if you have that sort of tendency in giving charity to the temple, again, not super nice, not super nice. No, we should give Krishna in any way. But yeah, if you have that sort of feeling that God will make it 10 times more or 20 times more, not the best charity. Yes, Rasanand Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I've got 2 questions, Prabhu. Like
Yes.
the charity in the mode of goodness, like still it is coming under the karma. Whatever we give, like we have to
Yes.
repeat next birth.
Yes, definitely, Mataji. But it's the least karma which you can get. Like if you are vegetarian, you still get karma, but it's the least karma you can get. But if you are like eating meat and all that, you get a lot of karma. So similarly, these are all, we are talking mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. You get karma, but in goodness, you get the least karma. But if you do it for Krishna, you get no karma. That becomes a karma. Yes.
My second question was, how about the blood donation, Prabhu?
Sorry?
Blood donation?
Blood donation, okay. Now that's a very complex topic. Jadvat Maharaj talks about it. There is no conclusive answer, at least in my knowledge. Devotees have been discussing that in Shastra it's not recommended. In Shastra. Now in today's world, how you apply the principles, that may vary. A simple example which I can give, again, I heard in the classes from a sannyasi, a woman should not work outside. As per Vedic culture, she should stay and look after the family. Now, when many women devotees are working, again, it's not wrong. As far as they can maintain their chastity and purity, and sometimes the financial things are so difficult in this world, and they have to support. But Bhakti Maharaj was telling, unless there's a dire need, if possible, women should stay home, because that way the family is very nice. But again, if there's a need in the family and they can support, they have the ability, so they come forward and they support. So again, there are different Vedic principles are there, but how you apply in today's world can be a little different. But again, the principle should be maintained. Now, this is a detail we are talking about, the blood donation. So it's not recommended in Shastra. The donation of your eyes and all that is not recommended. Many people have this, their donor organ registered. So I give my eyes when I die, for example. Now, if that person uses eye incorrectly, you get the karma, for example, right? So it's a complex topic. Blood donation, how this person will use your blood and all that. No conclusions are yet received, but it's not recommended in Vedic culture. Now, if you're saving someone's life for all good purposes, and if you have that sort of blood positive or whatever, yes, you can donate, but it's all detailed. How you apply, it's very difficult to say in this current world. Hope it helps as a principle. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ujjwala Samataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yeah,
Hare
when you said about donating the eyes or organ donation and everything, whoever it is given to, and if they do it wrongly, wrong actions and sinful life, the karmas will straight away come to the person who has given, or will be taken by the person who has performed it?
No, it will come to you because you were the source. As you said, you give $1 to someone out of good intention. He buys alcohol and he drinks, he commits a crime. You also share the karma because you were the source of that $100. So similarly, you do get some karma. That's one reason Vedic culture does not get into all these complexities. And he said, based on your karma, you have eye or no eye. And and Krishna will maintain like a sadhu had no hand, but by Krishna's mercy, he received his hands. So these are the principles which we can say. You'll get karma straight away or later. Very hard to say. We can't conclude these things. How nature will give you back. Very hard to say. Very, very hard to say. And we are not in a position to say these things. But you get karma back. That's a principle. Your intentions were good, but you get karma back. So again, how are you going to write in your will, who will receive my eyes? A devotee should receive. A devotee becomes a non-devotee. Many initiated disciples, they leave. They leave their guru. What are you going to do? How much control you can do? Very difficult to say. Now, again, I'm not against all these things. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the details are very difficult to discuss. Very, very difficult to discuss. Okay, let's do the last verse in this series and then we'll stop. I know it's 9:01, but we can do, because we're in that series, the last verse. Who wants to do? No one is doing. Vijay Gopi Mataji, you can do. Or Prabhuji.
Adeshakale yaddanam.
Adeshakale yaddanam.
Apatra bayasta deyate.
Apatre bhyascha diyate.
Asatkritam avagyatam.
Asatkritam avagyatam.
Tat tamasam udrahtam.
Tat tamasam udaharatam.
And charity performed at an impure place and at an improper time to unworthy persons or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Thank you, Prabhu. So Adeshakale, so again, it's exactly opposite to what was in the Sattva. So he's not considering any Desh or Kal. So anywhere, in any Kal, he's giving Apatrepya. So Deshakale Patre, it was in the Sattva. He's saying Adesha, Akala, Apatra. So you give anything to anyone. Basically, he can use it for meat, alcohol, violence, whatever. Asat Kartam. So this is not a Sat Karta, it is Asat Karta. Avagyatam. So avagyatam is in proper attention, or basically you're not giving proper respect to the person you're giving. Like in Vedic culture, when you give a charity to say a Brahmana, you give 50 rupees or whatever, and then you touch his feet. You feel actually obliged, you feel grateful that this Brahman has accepted your charity. Nowadays, it's very different. If you give donation, you feel like, I'm the donor. I'm the donor. Someone gave a donation in temple, in Vrindavan temple, and he was telling, because I was a donor, I was given a different treatment, and they gave him a different special seat and all that. He was very happy about it. And I was like, yes, is that how your attitude should be? Not sure. So it was a very great opportunity to be able to give the charity. Not that you feel donor, you feel, wow, this Brahman has accepted my charity. So avagyatam, but this is exactly opposite. So you don't give any attention to this this person. And sometimes I've heard about it, that people are told to fall on the feet of this donor, then only they will give. So if someone is hungry on the street, is asking, is begging for the food, so this will say, okay, you touch my feet, you glorify me, then I'll give you charity. So that sort of charity is not very recommended, and actually it's a mode of ignorance. So you are giving the charity, but after someone has bootlicked you, someone is licking your boot basically, and it increases your ego, and you say, I am a big donor in my village, because everyone is glorifying me. Okay, so we'll stop here. So these are the different modes of charity, sacrifice, food, and what else we read? Austerity.
So quick
Now,
question.
yes, Prabhu.
Diwali is coming. Generally, during this time, many people give some gift like that. How do they come? In what category?
So gift to you.
No, they give money or rupees or something, you know, as a gift to someone.
Sorry, like in India, you're talking to people give.
Yeah, in India especially, you know.
Yeah, so no,
That is not charity. That comes under like exchanging gifts, isn't it?
or to each other, you mean?
Not each other. I mean, people
It's on the road in the
restaurants
shadis, you
and,
see,
yeah, who are
in the
cleaning up.
marriages, they throw this 100 rupees note just to
Yeah.
show up, right? For example, yeah, that's a mode of ignorance, basically, because that 100 rupees will be taken by this poor boy, and he may buy a bottle of alcohol or something. So you're just showing off your money, basically. So the point is basically, Prabhu or Mataji, this money is not ours, it's Krishna's money. We are only caretaker for some time. Tomorrow, this money will be gone. So while the time you have the money, use it best for Krishna. Now, it does not mean you become hard-hearted to the poor people. It's not like that. Radhanath Maharaj always says, he says to his driver, you know, you carry some prasadam in the car. So if a beggar comes to you, you give him prasad. And Radhanath Maharaj was very angry one day at his driver because Maharaj told him to carry prasadam in the car and he forgot to carry prasad many times. And Maharaj said, if you don't carry the food prasad next time, I will take your shirt and give in charity. The point is, he is showing to us the principle of charity should be maintained. If a person comes to you with expectation of a help, you give him suitable help. Suitable help. Now, how that will be a prasad or money and all that, that will vary. That will vary.
I think extension of this one, sorry, just a minute.
Yeah.
It does happen during like these festivals, like Diwali, especially in India. You know, you have house helps and, you know, people doing other things. They would come and expect you give them some
bakshish.
Yeah, something.
Yes.
So what's with that, Prabhu? I mean, because they may go and do some sort of activities with that.
You give them prasad. Like even if you give them a kurta, for example, or a dhoti, you offer that dhoti to the Lord and then you give to your servant, for example. So you give them something which they may not be able to misuse, and it's prasadam. And that's how we have to be very, very expert in giving. And wherever we are not sure, simple policy is step back. Give them as much prasad as possible. If you cannot give anything, then probably don't give, unless you judge the person properly.
Yeah, I think
there may be some challenges. Yes, do the least. That's all I can say, Prabhu. Do the least damage to your karmic cycle. Least damage. If you cannot stop it, at least least damage it. Okay, Rasanand Prabhu, I'll take the last comment or question.
Similar to that only, Prabhu, like in the office and all, if there is any send-off party, this, that and all, everybody has to contribute money. So we really do not know. And then if you don't contribute, then we are out of that, you know, the group. So that's very awkward situation.
It's very, very awkward. Just do the least damage. That's all it can be said. Put $1 or something. You know, what can be said? There's no recommendation on that. But yeah, try to avoid. But if you can, do the least damage. Okay, let's stop here. Sundar Prabhu, any quick announcements?
Not really announcement, Prabhu. I think I mentioned to you about, you know, the coverage during the leave period in terms of who can help with the recording of classes and all. But I don't think everyone in the class today.
Okay.
That I checked with Prasannan Prabhu, he's traveling as well, and the countries are traveling, both of them. So we may have to see who can take that service for some time.
So just to give you a context to everyone, many devotees are traveling in the month of December to India, and we have like 1 or 2 classes. So Prabhu would love if someone else can record the class and sort of upload it, and he can help how to do that. So if you want to do that, it's not a big service, but please contact Sundar Gopal Prabhu just for a few classes, and then obviously he will be back. We also have 4 weeks holidays, recording and uploading.
I was hoping if somebody who wants to do it, we can do it maybe early, so I can be present and assist them while I'm there, rather than I'm being away and they get stranded. I also have a document that I've prepared with screenshots.
Prabhu is fully supportive. If you, one of you can do. Manmohan Prabhu, if you could, just for a few classes, if you could.
Prabhu, yeah, no, I can do, and I have a Zoom account which is going to support the classes. Like it's an unlimited account as well.
The Prabhu account is okay. This account will continue. You don't have to use any other account. We'll use the same account that we have. I'll give you all the details.
Yes.
If you're okay, maybe we can have a chat separately.
Maybe you can just talk offline and see what you can do. Huh?
No worries, Prabhu. I'll do
Okay.
it.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry for the little late today, but I think we started a little late. And tomorrow is Ekadashi. If possible, do something nice for Krishna's pleasure tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari.
Very
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.